reaching for the genuine, health and wealth to classiness, relationships and earn respect, a community for modern men. It's the Worthy Men's Club.
Hello, you beautiful people on the interwebs. Thank you for tuning in to Worthy Men's Club. We got another special episode broken up to 15-minute segments. We're going to touch on the art of selling. We're going to touch about dating. And then we're going to touch about men's depression. It's going to be a real quick episode, but I feel like it's going to be knowledge-packed. I'm Nito, also known as Swan. My bad, I cut you off.
I'm sorry. Co-host Yo-Yo, Worthy Men and Worthy Women. We got a special guest. But before that, I want to give a shout out to Lando. Gifted me this cigar, Guardian of the Farm. Pretty spicy, pretty nice. Came straight from Nicaragua. Recommend it. It's not a sponsor.
They probably got by it here, so thankfully we got some from Nicaragua because family friend of his gifted us, so you know.
Yep. And you know, you guys, purpose of the show is to grow in every aspect. Grow mentally, grow in wealth, grow in love. And I hope you all grow together. And we have a very special guest. This guy can sell swimming lessons to the fish, flying lessons to the birds, can sell you anything. And this is one of my best friends, Richard.
How long did you know him?
Shit, since he was in diapers, I want to say.
Yeah, I consider this guy my uncle. Just everyone that I knew from a young age because of you.
Yeah.
But I'm always excited to hop on the podcast because I know young guys, well, of all ages can tune in and learn stuff. But it's also like a great time because people that I haven't really chopped it up with, talked to really deeply, I can actually hear their point of views and topics that we usually won't talk to, like when we see each other real quick. But yeah, bro, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
You want to introduce yourself a little?
I'm Richard. I don't know what else I can kind of say about myself.
I mean, they're going to know of like going through the podcast, so don't feel pressure right off the bat. But right. Yeah, so as I said, the segments are going to be broken up. And the first one that I want to touch on, because I know you have been working in sales for a minute. Mm-hmm. So the art of selling, let's get right into it. What do you think the most important thing of selling is?
One thing that somebody kind of taught me was kind of a mentor to me. His name is Steven Yetter. Really good guy. Literally put me under his wing when I first started going into retail sales and everything like that.
Shout out to Steven.
So yes, shout out to Steven. Is people buy from whom they like. I think that's like always going to be one of the biggest things when it comes down to sales. If you make yourself likable, presentable, you can relate to the customer, like that's somebody who's going to come back to you multiple times, not just for once.
It's was this a coworker or was it?
Yeah. He was an assistant store manager once I came into, should I say the company or?
Yeah, we know it works.
Yeah, I went into work to Xfinity as a rep. I started off as a part-time rep. That's
was this for the retail store? I know they have like a third company.
It was retail. Yeah, it was retail. It was in Monterey. So I was leaving. I guess you can kind of say like at the time was a decent paying job. I was getting paid, I believe, like $19-20 an hour at the time. Doing painting, and I left a full-time job going to a part-time job, kind of risking it for that commission life without having any experience at the time.
Yeah, I know that a lot of sales jobs, you have a base salary, but people love sales because after the base is when the commission can top you off over like 6 figures sometimes.
Absolutely. I think, well, see, and it's funny that you say, you're talking about 6 figures. I started that job roughly like in March per se, right? March or April. And I didn't start selling fully until like May because of my training, which technically I think you have what is called ramp up, which is they kind of help you out with your commission, like a guarantee if you can't hit that guarantee, if you can't hit over that. And the first month I just kind of took it easy to kind of soak everything in, which kind of sucked though working at Xfinity because they had an old ass system, bro. It was a pain in the ass. So learning the codes was like stupid, like.
What kind of codes are you talking about here?
It was just kind of like you just had to enter different codes into the system, and then it would auto-generate something that you were looking for, like an additional box or whatever, as a AO, as they would call it.
So this is mandatory.
Yeah, it was. If you could not learn the system, there was no way that you could be working at Xfinity.
And this is where Steven came in, or?
Steven came in, he taught me a lot. He said, one of the biggest advices that he gave me as starting off working there, he said, I know this doesn't make sense, but one day it's just going to, boom, hit you. And you're going to realize, what you're doing. And it literally happened that way.
Okay. So you leave your job in March, 2 months training. Come around May is when you start actually getting the opportunity to get that commission.
So I did the first month kind of just to soak it all in. The second month I said, I'm going to try. And again, there was a lot of people shadowing you and stuff like that to see. And I was not, and still to this day, I guess it's kind of conflicting because I'm not so big of a people person. I'm kind of shy, but I had to open up there because it was retail sales regardless.
So someone that's kind of more introverted, painting your past job before you got into sales, that's kind of by yourself. You don't really even chop it up with your coworkers because you guys are in different parts of the house or the commercial property, whatever. So you would say you weren't like the most outgoing, especially to random people?
Definitely not. So one thing that I hated doing was everybody would have to take turns greeting. And I hated greeting people. Because it would be different interactions, right? And then sometimes they would ask questions that of course, I was a new guy and I wasn't going to know the answers, right? So kind of going back to it, the first month was kind of just soaking it all in. Started the second month and I said, I'm going to give this a try, let it go. So basically from let's say April, May to the end of the year, at Xfinity, I made I would like to say $64,000 just off of Xfinity.
In 6-7 months.
Yeah. So
on commissions.
Just on commission and hourly, which the hourly at that point was $16 an hour. So, I mean, if you kind of really break it down, it was pretty good money.
I know we have short time, but I remember correctly, you were making pretty good money in painting already. You were one of the top guys.
Yeah. So, and I was
you were making $9,000 a month money.
Dude, I was making really good money. Yeah,
that's like a profession, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what people that have a master's degree don't even make. You feel me? Yeah. So
sales can be really, really good money, bro. That's one thing that I always recommend is people that are scared.
And that's advice for all the young men too. If you don't know what to do, get in sales. Everybody you could guarantee sales will teach you how to get a job, how to get women, how to get anything. Yeah,
it definitely teaches you a lot because it teaches you to open up with people, have that face-to-face conversation. Again, to a certain extent, right? Because it's kind of you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Basically, that certain part I feel applies to me because kind of if we try to apply that to my dating life, it's not the same as me getting in front of a customer. If I'm talking to a customer, I feel less pressure.
But you don't think it's a little bit easier. We'll move to the women in a little bit, but women, you got to be likable. You got to relate.
Confident.
Yeah. It's kind of like sales, right?
Yeah. I would say so. I think it's just the biggest hurdle would be getting in front of a woman versus a customer.
Do you remember a story where you made a good sell and it changed your mind, or it clicked? Yeah. Dude, this is gonna make me money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
give us the tricks.
Well, this is one of this story in particular. Again, everybody would take turns greeting, right? And there would be times where nobody wanted to take customers; they just wanted to chill.
They already met their commission for the month at the second week.
Even sometimes it wasn't even like that, dude. But there was just people that were comfortable, right? And I would honestly, bro, there would be times where I would do the same. I would just feel comfortable and not want to go for it, or just be like, I just want to sit back, whatever. And then kind of see where my commission check ends up.
No, it's good that you're not shy saying that because so the people hearing this, it sounds like a great job, especially how he didn't come in the most extroverted, confident person. He got trained for 2 months and then $9,000 a month on average after that. It's a great gig.
Yeah. So, with that, it like I said, so that this in particular, this lady comes in and she says, nobody wanted to help her. Nobody went to her. And I said, I guess I'll go. I went and started talking to her. She said she was basically like a property manager at this apartment facility that they were renovating all these apartments. And she said, hey, I need service and I'm going to be needing service for these apartments. Roughly, it can be, a month to 3 months. in order for you not to get a chargeback on your commission, it has to be minimum of 90 days. Roughly that's what they would say, right? Or 30 days, some shit like that. But I said, okay, well, if I can make it work with her, I know I can get, so I treated her really good. I was able to relate, made the process super simple.
How many units did she say she wanted to hook up?
At first, she went for 3.
Okay.
Right? And the thing is that they messed up call center. Call center messed up her order. That's why she came into the store.
Xfinity call center?
Yeah, Xfinity call center. Ended up setting it up, so I capitalized on it. I said, you know what? Well, this is what I can do. We had a certain thing that we can do, things we can't do, and so forth, right? I got authorization to close out the original accounts that they had created, because it is frowned upon if you close and reopen an account. But if you had, you had to notate the crap out of accounts in order
you got to proof of that after a while.
And especially, I would always notate, okay, my manager so-and-so gave me the authorization to do this, and so forth, right? So I did that. I ended up doing 3 accounts for her that day. I told her, hey, my name is Ricardo. Here's my business card. Literally, this is my work number. Wrote down on the back of the card my cell phone work number. I said, I'll be able to help you with all your needs. Like, come to me, text me. I will prioritize your accounts.
Let's fast forward to the gain off that.
So the gain off that, I was doing this. This was getting close to COVID time. Well, this was already in COVID time when this was already kind of going on. So at that time, they shortened our goals. They ended up paying us more. And because we were essential, because I was working for technically a telecommunications company. For those who don't know,
I would think that COVID they needed more telecommunications.
Well, yeah, so I was considered essential. Because of the internet. So
that's great that they paid you more, but I feel like in COVID people need that more because they're downgrading, moving, staying indoors.
See, but then it was also what they needed was internet. What they didn't need was cable and all this other stuff. Yes, you would think so. But there was a lot of people who stopped working, so they weren't able to afford it anymore.
Or work at home.
Quit teasing me, bro. How much money did you make off this whole thing?
So so for sure, I mean, at that point, it was when I, towards this is already, I was established. So kind of that first year was my best year. I would say second year, I was an RSC, which is kind of a supervisor, and this is right before I became an ASM. So I was. From her, I was probably that was most of my commission checks, but my commission checks were roughly about $7,000, $8,000 around that time frame. And I would say about 80% of my commission was because of her. And this is the cool part about it, right? That I would hit early my commission,
nice,
and I would just chill the rest of the month. I could have made more money, but it was kind of like what I decided to do is because people were coming into the store, and as a RSC, what was going on now, I was helping mentor the new people coming in because they said because you do get a certain percentage off of your goals when you're the RSC, because technically, yes, you are supposed to mentor other people. And I was helping train the new guys, everything like that, kind of teaching them the ways. There was people that got it. There's people that didn't. And here's the thing.
What makes someone not get it or get it? Like, what's the psychology of sales working as a salesman?
I think, look, this is the thing. Like, I have 2 very, very good examples. One guy came in from Verizon background, selling and being a manager from he had said. So he was set on his ways, and he didn't want somebody with technically less experience than him telling him what to do, how to do it, and so forth. Again, I can give you my advice. I can put everything there for you. But if you decide not to take that advice, or you can take that advice, switch it to your own, and then be successful that way.
I'm hearing that he wasn't adaptable.
He was not adaptable.
Well, all our audience got a hug just off your story coming up from a painter to making these $7,000-$8,000 commission checks.
Yes.
So they're gonna listen to you. Tell them the secrets.
Yeah. So again,
another thing, on the art of selling, is this where it applies where you don't judge a book by its cover, or that's not part of the art of selling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all good.
You definitely do not judge a book by its cover, because then randomly you get people that will just come in and there would be people that you probably didn't think that they can buy service, or that you think that they're gonna want to go for the cheap stuff, but these are the people that love their old movies. So you can add on different things and get paid certain commissions off of them and stuff like that. So definitely don't judge a book by its cover. You have to be adaptable. You have to, be able to learn different ways. I think that those are, some key things when it comes down to selling, to be honest.
So was Steven around the picture during this time where you started hitting those $9,000 a month?
He was at the beginning. He was when I first hit my, I think 6, 7, and he was like, until this day we do keep in touch.
Nice.
He was this year actually. He was the first person to wish me a happy birthday. So he now lives, I think, in Oregon, Washington, or something like that. And for him to still remember my birthday and hit me up, and
so you guys build a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. He even told me, "Hey, come, move to," because wherever he lives. Excuse me. He said, "Move over here." He's doing real estate now.
Oh shit! Okay.
He said, "I'll help you." He said, "You and I can run this city," because he was actually a person who not just said, "I believe in you," but he actually demonstrated that he believed in me. And, keeping that friendship and, giving that advice, everything like that was always, is always there for him.
Yeah, it sounds like the whole premise of selling is building good relationships, not only with clients, but also people that can, network, have a healthy one, a supportive one.
And I think that one thing is really good too that you did, that you asked what are the secrets, is, again, people buy from whom they like. So let's say I sell Yo-Yo something, and then always building a funnel, right? Having a funnel for you of customers. So, hey, Yo-Yo, by any chance, do you know anybody who may need services, who may have a high bill that they want to take a look at? I can do that for them. At the time, you could swap out, let's say they had a lot of people, obviously, to sell, they would give them what is called a triple, right? So they would have internet, cable, and home phone. But then they rolled out home security. So basically, for less of a price, I can hook them up on home security and, switch out that phone line that they were not using anymore.
How would you sell them the home security? I want to hear this.
So it's kind of like, you can tell me, you could say, hey, I got guns at home. Okay, yeah, you have guns at home, but what do they do when you're not home? You can have dogs. What if something happens to your dog?
So you made it personal.
Yes. And the thing is, too, the beauty was that I was actually a customer.
Were you observing? Were you like, oh, he has kids? You got kids, or you got a nice.
You ask open-ended questions when it comes down to these.
Remember that, guys? That's a book I read, Persuasion. Persuasion, bro. You gotta be likable and all these things you're mentioning.
So open-ended questions is very important when it comes down to these things, because how do you keep your home protected? Oh, so and so. Because if you ask a question that's going to end in yes or no, your conversation is going to die eventually. That's where you don't want it to go. But I was a customer myself, so what I would do is I would grab my personal phone, show them, look, this is where I live.
So you were a top sales guy. I'm pretty sure you were a top guy for the women. They knew how much money you were making. Co-workers were probably spreading rumors, this guy's making this much money. So in the store, there were very... Don't say names.
No, I'm not going to say names. There were very few girls.
Oh, shit, okay.
Girls that, for me personally, I wasn't attracted to. Anything like that.
How'd you like them? The women?
One did help me out in my development as a salesperson, kind of helping me out with, especially with questions with the system. It's called CSG. She really, really helped me out. So the crazy part is, I guess I don't know if I really want to put it like this, but she's white, but speaks really good Spanish. And she learned that because she was a server, I think, before it was Hacienda, when it was Chevy's, I think.
Gotcha, okay.
Or whatever it was, I think, or even as Hacienda. But she worked there as a server.
Not only job Spanish, like professional Spanish, you do like conversation?
You can have a conversation with her. And it was funny because I would tell her all the time and be like, I'm going to take you to my house one day and just like see what my family says. No, like none of the girls that I work with.
Taking her to
no.
Like straight to the house.
The girls that I meant it like in a really friendly manner. Like she was super cool. Yeah, no intentions. She was super cool. She's like one of the guys for sure. You can count on her to help you and everything like that. So, she was really cool. There was other people that came in for different positions, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I guess he brought up that question because he wants to correlate your experience as a salesman to your dating life
Yeah.
during that period and maybe to this day. Like, I know both professional wise and dating wise, you have to overcome rejections.
Right.
So, how would you? I don't think you're the type of guy to try to win over a girl if she's definitely not showing interest. But I'm
Right.
sure that you are like trying to spit your game, trying to be like smooth with this. So.
See, here's the thing. Like, I think obviously, I think a good saying. I believe in this at least because I've experienced it firsthand. But I think that obviously my habits are changing. The more you make, the more you spend, right? So I think for me, it was from a young age, I was kind of taught a different lifestyle than my brother was. So, and not by my family, it was just kind of people that I surrounded myself with. So I liked, kind of finer things. So kind of brand stuff and everything like that. So I would start buying myself these kind of things. And how my age, social media was, just getting real big and everything like that. So I've always been the person to post kind of if I bought something new and everything like that. So social media made it easy to kind of get girls per se, because they would be like, oh, like, when are you going to buy me one? I'd be like, I'll just make conversation. I wouldn't say straight up, like, I'm never going to get you anything like this.
And there's nothing wrong with the women having standards. Do you guys think that? Or
But I mean, I guess that kind of opened the door a lot for me as, when I was single and selling. But as far as kind of like, what you said, the women, if, kind of within the company and everything like that, if they were talking, I think Salinas in Monterey, which Monterey store is gone now. I think now they have a third party somewhere like in Seaside. But they're so far away from San Jose stores that we would probably see them once a quarter. But basically by then, it was kind of like their little popular groups. Every store would be kind of separate. Nobody would really mingle. Like I remember to this one event that we went to, they ended up renting out a movie theater. And it was a bunch of it was one big it was one big room. It was a South Bay, a bunch of people, and you were just like, wow, like, I guess if you kind of want to talk about women, then we had the ugly betties,
So it was a company event.
Yeah, company event. And I'm going to be straightforward. For a certain time, Xfinity really took care of their employees. I would like to say that they do to a certain extent now, but I guess kind of when you go into management, it all changes.
I think they're now on their team-based commission, which kind of deters a lot of people. But...
So when you go into management at Xfinity, now it's team-based. You depend on other people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So at that event, you're talking about the ugly betties, and then you brought up previously about you showing off the things that you afforded through the job on social media. That's what kind of got girls interested. So mostly social media was your avenue of meeting these people because your job didn't have a lot of attractive women.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So
correct.
how would you go about like communicating and trying to win over the girls that you did like on social media?
Well, I think it was kind of like, okay, back then it was, I would say like, per se, Cheesecake Factory wasn't as big, right? Like as because now they see, I feel like a lot of people, and I sent you a video. Yeah. I feel like, a lot of people now
complaining about getting taken out to Cheesecake.
Yes,
dude, I saw it yesterday. I was like, I watched this YouTuber called Penguenzo. Shout out him. I want to actually interview this guy because he only has one podcast. So I'll send him a message. Penguenzo, hit me up. I'll hit you up actually. But anyway, bro, Cheesecake is fucking nice.
It is. I like it. Yeah.
But
we're talking about the same video.
Yeah.
I gave
That's a black girl thing, you
I was giving her like some I was giving her the benefit of the doubt until I heard that the guy had already plans to a nicer restaurant, but they ended up going to Cheesecake Factory because she was late.
She didn't say, "Oh, you hit me up saying we're going to go to this nicer one."
No, but she was expecting it. But
maybe
up to a point, I understand if women are getting ready, spending hundreds of dollars just to get ready to see you and go on a date. They do deserve probably like a nice first date.
No, that's understandable. My only problem with that video was she didn't explain her troubles with Cheesecake. She was very like shallow about it. Like,
I felt that she was putting Cheesecake like in the same category as Applebee's.
Yeah, she should have said, you know what? I fucking got diarrhea last time I ate at Cheesecake Factory and the waiter fucking slapped me and fucking spat in my face. Like,
Yeah.
okay, then we can go somewhere else.
I mean, we don't know the whole backstory, but you know, if a woman's getting ready, putting lashes, a wig, she probably spend like $300-400. I mean, at least spend like $200-300 on her, you know?
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's go on to your. You fuck with cheesecake, you be taking your girls out to cheesecake.
I like cheesecake, but
I love cheesecake. My girl loves
Facts.
cheesecake.
I like cheesecake.
No,
Yeah.
but it was so okay. Kind of for the people that are not familiar with our area, we have San Jose, right? That was kind of my go-to. Always San Jose, and thanks to, I guess more because I used to go to like Santana Row with Mitchell, my aunt, Stency, you know, and people,
Cousins.
yeah, my cousins. So it was always kind of knowing those places already. So that was always my go-to, which is the nicer things, right? And I would, you know, even going to Yard House was a different experience, right? For those who are familiar with Yard House. I mean, I would put it kind of in the same category as cheesecake. Yeah. But, you know, just because of the vibe is different, people prefer to go to Yard House.
So you would be. Okay, this is when you already got the day and already taking them to the spots that you know of. How are you communicating with these people on social media? These fine, wonderful ladies. How would you win them over? And maybe you can connect your sales experience or maybe something more unique. How would you go about that?
I think one of the biggest things is, I don't know if I should go into that much detail on, because like, it's obviously even when it comes down to sales, right? If you know enough about your product, you tell them things that they want to hear.
Okay, but what about the details that we know already? Like Richard was using social media, posting the good things, the fine life. You are getting known because I'm pretty sure you're posting your accomplishments in your new profession. So women are seeing that. There's some gold diggers. There's some interested girls, some girls with high standards, and you were hitting every criteria. So what did Richard do during those times?
Oh, well, what did Richard do? Like already as in what I would do when, like to get to know them, or
Well,
what was
Richard
I
secure
doing
the
with
date.
all
Yeah,
to
you're on
secure
social
the date?
media, and there's women there. You're talking to women on social media. They know you're successful. You're dressing nice, buying nice things, going nice places. Let's move into the dating life. How did that work?
I think that one thing about me, and I mean, I can kind of say this about myself. There's people that will, I think that most people will agree the fact that I'm a really nice guy. So I feel like that can be really good, but then also bite you in the ass, because in a lot of cases, I would say that nice guys finish last. But I think that for girls that were trying to go into and find someone, you know, that was different, the nice guy kind of worked out, right?
What do you mean by nice? You just were polite. You were
I was
a
definitely
gentleman, a worthy man.
Yep, worthy man,
Would
exactly.
you consider that a challenge dating? Like you found out that was kind of being non-beneficial? It was hurting you?
To be nice?
Yeah.
At some point, yes.
With every woman, or it depends on the woman?
No, I would say that for the most part, it was okay. So here's the thing, you know, there was times where I would, you know, kind of get to know someone and, you know, start going out with them and everything like that. And then they would be like, you know what, like I you know, you're just too nice, you know, I kind of feel that, you know, this wouldn't work out, you know, blah, blah, whatever.
Do you think they wanted like to take more action, like be more aggressive?
I don't think that, because I mean, I would be pretty straightforward, kind of, you know, at the right time.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing, you know, kind of going back to it, then these girls would eventually end up with someone else, get their heart broken, everything like that.
But what's the right time for you? Because maybe that's not the right time for these other women. Like, how
Well-
long did you wait until you actually pulled the move? Maybe went in for the kiss?
Well,
or...
I think that, again, I was trying to be a gentleman and be really respectful.
Sure.
So I would, you know, kind of get their feel first, and I would say, you know, like 3-4 dates, kind of, you know, but I also let them know that I was shy, to kind of, because again, this was me actually being shy too. It was for them to kind of give me the reassurance that it was cool, you know. So eventually, I would get to a good point with them, but then at the same time, they'd be like, you know, I guess I never got the straightforward like you're too nice, but in smaller little ways, it was like, you know,
Yeah.
like they
We
like the bad
encourage
boy.
guys to be a gentleman, be a worthy man. But I'm hearing that you friend
know
zone
your
yourself a
limits.
lot.
Yes. So because I was being too nice, I was kind of putting myself in the friend zone a lot. So it was just kind of one of the things that obviously it does end up hurting you if you don't know how to go about it.
Were you being too honest, or you feel like you couldn't be too honest because you were being super nice and you couldn't be completely
I feel
honest?
like I was being too honest about everything, right? And whatever time frame it took. But I can literally tell you that 90% of these girls that friend zoned me later on at a different point in life ended up hitting me up.
Always happens.
That they said like, oh, I wish I would have taken you serious and this and that. And again, I've shown a lot of my life on social media. So a lot of people get to see how I've been with my nephew, which basically I treat him as my own. And a lot of people would always be like, you'd be such a great father, like not like my, baby daddy and all these things. But it's like a little too late, girl. Like,
No, it's good that you're over here on the podcast, like telling our audience that, because it's a great learning lesson. I'm hearing this, and I understand that maybe waiting and being too friendly can be detrimental, but also I would think that there'll be a certain girl that appreciates that. Maybe that's one that you prefer. But if you don't just want like a serious girlfriend that wants to be taken care of, have kids and shit, maybe you could have been more like fuckboy. That's the first word that comes to mind.
We'll see. Apparently, this is where kind of like, I guess I would feel like I had bad luck, right? The girls that I would turn into fuckboy, whatever you want to call it, were the girls that actually probably put the most interest in me. And the girls that didn't. And I feel like it happens in the sense that a lot of us like what we can't have. And it just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like a little addicting, right? Trying to get that. And I kind of see that when the roles reverse, as whenever a guy's being an asshole to a girl and the girl still wants that guy, still wants to be there and all this stuff.
An asshole, but also being a gentleman.
Right.
It just amplifies.
How would you break that down though? Because I know that a lot of people, they hear that, but they don't understand your thoughts behind that phrase. What do you mean by asshole but gentleman at the same time?
Well, maybe not an asshole. It's just you're being a gentleman with the woman. Every time you see her, you treat her nice. She's always having a good experience. It's just you're not always available. She might need you at certain times. She might want to go out at certain times. But like you said, you can't have him all the time.
Yeah.
So she's desiring him because every time she hangs out with him, it's an experience.
Gotcha. Okay.
You don't got to be an asshole per se, where you call her a B or a H, and
no one likes that.
Respect her.
And the girls that do like that are probably girls you want to fucking run away from.
Exactly. But if it's a girl that you kind of want to prolong the relationship, doesn't have to be like a dating relationship, just messing around, but you guys are respecting each other. She's gonna desire a gentleman. You take her out nice restaurants. You dress nice. It's a guy with status where she feels happy showing him off, posting him on social media. But if you treat her bad, disrespecting her, then that's being an asshole. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying just don't be available 24/7.
No, I dig that, because on those times when you're not with her, instead of being like, oh yeah, I want to see you, I'd love to see you every single day, every other day, you can spend that time working on the sales position, getting some money, working out, just developing yourself.
You can be just, baby, I'm not available right now. I'm busy making money. I really want to hang out with you, but it has to be another day.
You can fake it and you can just spend that time fucking on the toilet, on your fucking bedroom watching TV, but maybe it'll be more beneficial to...
And letting her know too that you got friends, you got family, that they're also important, and she needs to respect that.
That makes a well-developed person, right?
Yeah.
Fucking hobbies, working out, spend time with their family and friends.
Yeah. So is that something that you were going through with these women?
Yeah, no, well, you see, again, it's kind of like, I would see that obviously the women that I would put more attention to, everything like that, were obviously the ones where I was kind of friend zoning myself. So
which we all go through that.
Yeah. So, and then the women that actually wanted me, I was, I guess, that asshole, as we said, but still a gentleman, right? Still a worthy man, if you guys want to put it that way. So, but I would say that it's always going to be something that, I mean, it was a good learning experience. And now, kind of getting back out in the dating scene now, it's kind of like, and now I have a different perspective. And, I've at least been able to tell Yo-Yo, like, of certain circumstances. And then he's like, well, compared to how I used to do things, I think that, it's a change compared to how I used to.
You say
do
it's more
things.
healthy.
It's healthier, yeah, because like I know, like now this time around that I'm back out dating and stuff, I'm giving myself I'm giving myself a good status, yet still respecting myself and knowing where the limits are, and not being taken advantage of like I have previously.
Gotcha. What would you say are tips that you can give the audience to build those healthy relationships? I know you just broke down 3 right here. Taking time for yourself, not being bullied, not taking shit from disrespectful women. What other things can build a healthy relationship?
Well, I think if you're trying to build a healthy relationship with someone, I think like one of the biggest things that you can kind of go into is going to be like trustworthiness and communication, especially because like it's tough nowadays. Social media gives you a whole different perspective of what a relationship should look like. I think a lot of people date just to date. A lot of people don't actually take the time to be in a relationship.
Not only that, it puts false expectations, but I feel like you looking at your partner's Instagram might make you have a point of view, which isn't the truth. So communication,
Right?
Be like, oh, are you doing this? Or like, are we not serious?
And I think that you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells when you're trying to be with someone.
I like that.
Because I think that if you're, let's say you're just recently started dating, or you guys are getting to know each other, and you already feel like you're going to walk on eggshells, then best advice that I'm going to say is turn around, walk away.
Are there any red flags that are pretty obvious that the gentlemen and even some women should look into?
Well, I think again, if there's someone that's not willing to talk about certain things, anything like that. So kind of like I guess I could talk a little bit about my experience.
Yeah,
like,
sure. Go ahead. We want to hear this.
If you talk to someone who has a child, right? I think that first things first, if you want to get into a relationship with someone who has a child, have the conversation about do's and don'ts, what the expectations are, and how you guys plan to manage certain things. I feel like, especially if this woman she's ready to bring her kid around you, for sure, 1,000%, like the timing has to be there. Because if you don't do that and you just kind of go into it blind, and then you kind of say, hey, well, this isn't right. I don't deserve this. Like,
Well, I think before investigating the Instagram, the social media, you need to investigate her past.
yeah.
And that comes maybe with
Those
communication.
questions,
And
yeah.
if you don't think she's being honest, I want to say there's nothing wrong with investigating
Right.
your partner.
So just asking out of concern, not coming at her and be like, oh, are you this way? Like, I don't fuck with person. Like, just be like, hey, I need to know, because I would appreciate if you tell me ahead of time. I don't want to get mixed in.
Well, here, let me ask you guys a question, right?
Sure.
If you're seriously getting to know someone, what are your expectations? Would you expect them to kind of be honest with you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, you see, and kind of going back to the last relationship that I was in, once I officially made her my girlfriend, I was driving her home. She said, hey, I got to talk to you about something. I was like, oh, shit, already?
How many months did you spend with her before you met her?
Well, here's the thing, that we spent a lot of time hooking up
Okay.
before we started dating. So I would
Do
say,
you want to say that the hooking up made you fall in the relationship?
I feel, so the crazy part is, I have 2 things to say about this one. I feel that the hooking up yes, it did make it lead to a relationship, but also the other part that made it lead to a relationship, was COVID. This was around COVID time.
Fucking COVID.
Right. Because you couldn't go out, you couldn't do anything.
The vaccine
Virus
made you
was-
hella horny. Huh?
No, this is before the vaccine.
Oh, okay.
This is like fresh, fresh COVID.
No. But did you have to touch on more things? Because you said that she told you, hey, I have to let you, like to let you know something.
Yeah, she said, I have to tell you something. I was like, okay, what's up? And she said, again, she had a kid with someone, she said,
You didn't know about the kid when you guys were just...
I didn't officially know the kid by the time. Well,
But you
no,
knew
actually,
about the kid. You just didn't know the kid personally.
Right. Yeah. And she kept kind of pushing the kid on me. There would be times where I would try to make excuses not to meet the kid, especially because I felt that, I guess more than anything, is like once you start developing feelings for someone and like they have a child involved, I feel like you got to really protect yourself as coming into that, because like, let's say things don't work out like it did in this case for me. you're not just, have love and attachment for your partner, but also the kid. So you lose two things in one when you guys separate.
So what did she tell you?
So she said, remember the day that I was texting you and I told you that that I was just at home, just not doing anything? I was like, yeah. And she said, well, like, obviously, remember I told you that I had a party for my daughter for her baptism, whatever it is. And, I had a party.
She fucked the baby daddy.
I don't know. That could have happened.
Oh, okay.
But she said,
My mind's like pessimistic. I think the worst.
She said, well, just wanted to let you know, like, I wanted to be honest with you. He was there. I was like, okay.
And you thought he wasn't?
I thought he wasn't.
Bro, some girls be like, why you lying like that, though? You be getting told.
Why you girls do that?
No, but they be like, I was at Chili's and my ex was across the table, and then fucking sometime later he's like, oh, actually you was fucking. I'm just kidding. You're going.
Yeah, like, they tell you months later, but not at the right time.
So how did you go about that? Like, that was the first red flag, or what?
Well, see, there's more to it. And then she's like, and
that wasn't always specific, by the way. I haven't done with any Chili's. So. Go on.
Advertising.
Then, the next day, well, she was like, remember that time? I was like, well, he was there. And I was like, okay, so when the times that I kept telling you, like, because you kept pushing your kid on me, and I told you, thanks for the invite, whatever, like, like, now it makes sense why you didn't want me there. So then she says, well, that's not L. I was like, oh, damn. Like, okay, for what else? She said, well, remember the next day, like, I told her that I was just at home, like, not doing anything, whatever. I was like, uh-huh. She's like, well, he had a separate party for her, and I was there, too. I was with him. And I was like...
And that's what you only know.
Like, yeah, that's exactly. I only know to what she tells me. So then this kind of already made me... have distrust in her so early on, because I started I'm an overthinker. So I started overthinking, like, okay, what else has she lied to me about?
And you were really deep with this girl. You really liked her. You were trying to take it serious, committed.
Absolutely. I had spent 8 years single prior to that relationship. And she was a person who I was willing to get back into the dating scene hardcore. Her having a kid, everything like that. I respected everything like that. I, went completely traditional with her. Well, I guess not completely traditional, but, the thing that made me overthink a lot. So there was this one instance where we were texting, we're still, we were talking already, hooking up. She said, oh, I'm going to go to, she was going to go somewhere to visit someone who was in the hospital from the baby daddy side. Whatever, she kind of went MIA for that day. I was having my Christmas party for work that day. And at night, this was probably like around 9, 10 o'clock. That's when apparently she got home. She started texting me. She's like, hey, are you going to want to see me? And I was like, well, I don't know. It depends. Like, do you want to hang out? And she said, yeah, absolutely. Like, I do want to see you. I said, okay, yeah, then let's do it. I'm still here. She's like, well, I still got to take a shower or whatever. I was like, okay, just let me know when you're ready. And then I'll head out for my Christmas party. I'll head out over there. And she said, okay, if not, it's okay. We can do it another day, right before Christmas. I was like, but at this time, we were hooking up. I mean, she was my friends with benefits, like, talking serious, not my girl yet. So I was like, I was trying to get it in, and I guess, not to go through the hassle of trying to find somebody or anything like that. It was already comfort. It was there. So I said, no, yeah, like, I'll pick you up. So I ended up picking her up like around 10:30, probably 11, and went to my house. We did our thing, whatever. But then what I didn't know, once in this kind of went through my mind as when I started thinking about, the overthinking. And then I would say about a month or two after she admitted to me what had happened, I told her, hey, so be honest with me. Did you end up going with your baby daddy? Like, did you guys go together to that place that you told me that you were just going to go to see the family member? And she said, like, yeah.
So at least she was being honest.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Too late by then.
Yeah, too late by then.
I'm just saying, like, at least she was being... Some girls that would fucking hide this forever.
No, thanks for sharing that, bro. Because
Yeah.
it touches on the point that communication is everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if there's no communication, and this was a pretty big thing,
How did
that's
you
what you're
feel?
trying to...
How did that make you feel?
Very insecure.
I want to know why you continued the relationship.
Did
Like,
you
what
forgive
did
her?
you see on
Yeah,
you?
like he forgave
not
her.
to judge, bro, 'cause-
You forgive her right away, or was something like your mind, your heart couldn't let go, or
Yeah, I'm not saying that because it's like, oh, you should have known. Because I mean, we all had rose-colored glasses, and
and it's
we
easy
all
to say behind the fucking screen,
Right.
like, this guy's a dumbass, or oh yeah, you should have left her. But when you're in that situation, you love someone, and you're so deep in it, it's hard sometimes
I
to let
think,
go.
and that's to that point. I think that I was way too deep into it. Again, I was single for about 8 years, roughly, before that relationship. So I was like deep in it. We got to a point where we got engaged, everything like that.
Damn.
So we went through a lot in a short amount of time. But I feel that, as I kept learning about the lies, we moved in together. And before we moved in together, I would spend the night here and there, because we got engaged. We applied for apartments under her name because she had the better credit, all that stuff, right? She ended up getting approved for an apartment while we broke up, basically right after the engagement. As soon as we got back from our trip, because I took her, she had never been to Vegas, and I took her to Vegas to celebrate kind of the engagement. But then this was still around COVID time, right? So there was not too much like clubbing, anything like that.
You were still at Xfinity making the money, right?
Yes, I was at Xfinity still. Yeah, still making good money. So I was able to, take her and got a really nice suite. Again, hotel prices were super cheap around that time. Mm-hmm. They almost wanted to pay you to go, somewhere. Treated her real good, everything like that. And she was just like, oh, I feel like you're too jealous and this and that. And I was like, well, here's the thing. It's like, if you never given me those insecurities, the reasons for me to, not fully trust you, and you not making it a priority to regain that trust, that's where the problem is. So
after that, she ended it.
as soon as we got back that same day, she said, hey, I need to talk to you
Again.
Again. And we already had some conversations while we were in Vegas. And she said, well, I think I need some time. If you want, give me some. I was like, I am a person that doesn't believe in time.
Give me some time to be a freaking HORE. Yeah,
To-
WHORE.
I was like,
To go-
hold up.
So,
What ended that?
Worthy but can't spell.
You can't use W only for worthy.
You don't know how to spell. We just sell.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
So she's like, give me some time to, figure it out if this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but see, she knew, she kept pressing on me. Well, before we got engaged, she kept pressing. Well, where's my ring? When is it going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
When this? When that?
When's
Like,
all this
really
shit? But where's
pressing.
the healthiness? Where's the
Really
communication?
pressing, and
Where's
then
the trust?
Yeah, exactly. And I can guarantee you for a fact that I treated her better than any fucking man she's ever dated.
And did she deserve it?
Absolutely
Did she
not.
deserve the ring?
I don't think she did because, again, I'm opening up because I think people
Oh, yeah.
should be, kind of think about things and
Especially young men.
Yeah, especially
Gotta hear
because I
this.
think a lot of people men in general don't open up about relationships and
Oh,
their
no.
feelings or anything
That's
like that.
embarrassing.
Yeah, a lot of people get embarrassed, but I mean, a lot of people already know.
And we thank you
regardless.
for opening up this, man. Like,
No, yeah,
your personal life.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was in the time frame that we broke up, and she got the apartment.
It's the first time I
whatever
hear
it was.
like an explanation of what can happen when you go into a relationship. Because I have never seen a video that someone is telling me their point of view how you are. So yeah, I
A
appreciate that.
guy
You're
that was
saying
doing
that.
pretty good for his age. He was doing pretty good.
Yeah, with no school or anything
And-
like that.
You mentioned moving in together, getting her the ring, taking her to Vegas, spending money. Was this 50-50 or it was all you?
Like on trips and whatever we would do.
Bills, everything.
Well, see, it was all me. When she got the apartment, she did it while we were broken up. We took like 2-3 weeks off. She was already moved in when I found out about it. So then, once I found out about it and we started kind of hanging out again, I would go over and then I would see her light bill, and then I would just go on my phone and pay for her light bill.
Being a gentleman again.
Yeah, the things that I wasn't living there, and little that I know, because I tried to trust her right away. But I didn't really pay attention to it because she's like, oh, you have to change and this and that, because she made me feel like I was the problem. But realistically speaking, I feel like I wasn't the problem because she did all this stuff to, she was.
Were you doubting yourself? Were you like, maybe I am fucking up?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like the sad part about it, you know, because I was like, fuck, well, what's wrong with me? You know, like, I'm fucking up my relationship.
You're giving everything you have for her. Yeah. And she's not giving it back to you.
Why did you feel like you weren't worthy? It's the first mind that comes to mind. Because you were having the same job. You didn't reflect on like, oh, I came up, I got nice things, now I'm doing well for myself. But the relationship was the thing that drained you. Like, it made you completely forget of who you were.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that that's the reason why I left Xfinity. And that's me opening up that I left a really good paying job. Because of this relationship. You know, so I guess, you know, the fact of how she was with me made me feel not worthy. The fact that I would, you know, I would go see stuff myself to see what was really going on. And even though I would see things, I was still so fucking deep into the relationship that I would like let her sweet talk me.
What would you tell Rich, the past Rich, to avoid that? Of course, let's not tell Rich to not get into the relationship. Let's fast forward in the first couple of dates.
I would say don't tolerate the lies.
And this is women decide who they sleep with. Men decide who they marry.
Right.
So she already got you knowing that you're about to marry her from the engagement. Maybe that's when the power dynamic switched. Maybe that's when she felt like she was in control, disrespecting you.
See, and here's the thing, that she said that I changed once I gave her the ring, but I never changed. I continue to be the same person. I would still be, you know, jealous and all these things, whatever you want to call them. But because she gave me the reasons to. Once we moved in together, bro.
Was she saying you were controlling?
Yeah, she was saying that I was controlling and all this and that.
I don't, because of course I know you. It might seem like I'm your side. I'm really trying to take this neutral, but if you have a wife and or a fiance, you're engaged with her, I feel like you can ask the man for certain things that aren't overboard. If you're just saying like, oh, I want to know where you're at. I want to know who
she
you're
would see it as toxic if I asked her who.
But that's her fiance.
Yeah, like if she wanted to go somewhere, I'd be like, oh, who's all going to be there?
Yeah. And it's fine for her to deny things from you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because and here's the bad part
both
too.
Ways,
yeah. Here's the weird part, and this is, you know, I had always heard about it, to where they say, you know, this person is acting this way because it's their conscience, right? They're thinking about all these other things that they're probably doing behind your back. Excuse me, I didn't want to see it. So within the time frame that we broke up, obviously I didn't know this. I didn't get to know this right away. I found out towards the end of our relationship. We broke up for two weeks roughly. She ended up sleeping with her baby daddy.
Fucking
So
that hurts probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just imagine.
Like here's the thing too, that when we got back together, she like made it very fucking clear that if I even had kissed a girl, she would not be able to take me back.
Damn, but she could do this.
Right. And I didn't know it at the time, right? So then I told her, did you do anything with him? Because I knew that they were hanging out. And she said no.
Big liar.
She said no.
Do you think she took advantage of you in financial and time?
As fucked up as it sounds, I'm going to be straightforward. And I always, especially with, you know, the people around me, I would always try to sugarcoat it, right? I'd be like, nah, she's actually really good. I feel that even though she didn't make it very, very clear, I feel that she knew what she was doing. Because easily, if you for sure did not want someone to pay for you or to take advantage of someone, then you would just, you know, cut it off right there. Hey, seriously, I got this. This is me, you know, blah, 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 whatever. But after, you know, we started dating, if I had, you know, with two fingers, I can probably count the times that she actually paid for something. Or even after we started dating, because we would still hang out for a while after we stopped dating. So it was kind of like we were dating, but unofficially, because she still wanted to be in her, whatever you want to call them, days, and go out and all this other stuff. But then she always wanted to have me there as a backup, whatever it was. And maybe it was, and see, that's the way that I see it, because there was an instance on something, but then that had happened. But then if I go into it, then I have to tell my whole story, and it's a long ass story to begin with.
It's good because you're pretty much explaining how you allowed these things to happen because a variety of things. Maybe no communication, of you ignoring that she was a toxic woman. So it's great for everyone listening in to be conscious about who you spend time with.
Yeah,
be conscious about who you treat well.
Yeah,
give your respect to, because a lot of people aren't good people.
Yeah.
So don't feel like love is scarce. There's someone that's gonna match you. There's someone that's gonna love you. So thanks for giving these examples, bro. I bet that shit brought you to like all that time, money, energy, meeting the kid, dealing with the cheating on her part. Like, fuck, bro, I can only imagine how you felt after.
Yeah, dude. So, and that's kind of going into my next topic, I guess, more than anything that we can kind of go into this. Goes into where a lot of people don't talk to when it comes down to men, is depression. I found myself in a really dark place, with that relationship. So I went into depression after we broke up. I've always been like, well, not always.
Were you
but
depressed after the breakup or leading to the breakup?
Leading to the breakup, because when we lived together, bro, like I can tell you that I was never allowed to go with her to pick up the child, to drop off the child, anything like that. If he would come pick up the child at the apartment and I was there, I would have to obviously say bye before she even opened the door. And like, let's say I was the door opens out this way and I was sitting where Juanito is, she would open it up all the way. But if I was sitting where I'm at, she would only open it a certain amount, so he could never see me.
And you had to put up with this, or else she would react.
Right, yeah. She would never give me my place in the relationship. And that was my biggest thing, is like, show me that you want me around. Show me that I'm actually important to you.
Being broken down.
And there's nothing wrong with the guy giving the girl everything, taking her out to the nice restaurants, paying for everything, if you get what you want in return. But if you're asking for respect, you're asking for communication, you're asking for trust, and she's not doing that to you, giving it back to you, then that's where.
And look, here's the thing. There was a time where I lost my.
They were engaged too. Yeah, this wasn't no dating, bro. Like, that's fair to ask for that.
And again, there was a point where obviously I ended up kind of pulling myself away from the Xfinity job to kind of focus on the relationship, which eventually just still deteriorated. So she did like help out with like little things here and there.
That benefited her too?
What?
The things that she helped out, was it like only for you that helped you out, or helped out the household?
Well, I guess it more than anything helped out her too, because I mean, a lot of the stuff that we did have was, again, she was the one with the really good credit, whatever it was. Job. At the time, she had a whatever type of job. At the time, she didn't get a good job until after we broke up.
But she had a job where she could.
Yeah, she had a job.
Pay some bills.
Yeah, pay some bills. We weren't paying a lot, which was cool, for rent. But this is where our relationship started going even down more downhill, because it came down to the financial aspect. As long as I was good financially, we didn't have no conversations as far as who was paying what, whatever it was. We said that we would go 50-50 on rent, whatever the first month. Yes, we did go 50-50 on rent, all that stuff, because we only lived together for like 2 months or something like that. So then in the time frame, I stopped working. But then it was more problems because I wasn't working. My money was taking long to kick in, whatever it was. And, she was always a girl who was good with her money. She knew how to save money regardless, even if I was paying stuff or not. She knew how to save money. So she always had a savings. And it wasn't to take advantage of the savings or anything like that, but it was kind of like, I just know that I would tell her all the time, stop working. I'll pay for everything. Because I knew that I could do it financially where I was working at.
Was it a healthier time when you were doing that instead of when you weren't working?
Well, yeah, that was at a healthier point. But then, see, when I guess she was the one with the job and I wasn't, she had a big issue paying for stuff. And when my money kicked in, I would still give her money, whatever it was, whatever, my part was. Whenever I could. But like, let's say I had $40 left over, bro, those $40, I would use them to go buy fucking roses for her. You know, and so for sure, almost for sure, every 2 weeks, every paycheck for sure. When I was working, every paycheck, 1,000%, every paycheck, she would have a fresh set of flowers.
I want to ask you something, and you're welcome to decline the question. Are you open to explaining to the audience what did you lose with this woman?
As far as like materialistic
relationship,
well,
everything you could think of
I think more, you
that
know,
hurt you.
I think for one, I lost confidence. You know, I feel like I even though I haven't been the most confident person, I feel that I've been, you know, to a certain point, I've been, you know, I at least knew that I wasn't the ugliest person out there. Not the best looking either. So, you know, I had no confidence in kind of like how to take certain things. The one thing I gained terribly was the depression portion. I lost, you know, the job. I lost a car. I let go of my car. We got something under her name.
I know what you had, but people could know.
Yeah, so I had, when I went into the relationship, I had a 2014 Ford Focus ST, something that I got on my own. High interest rate, whatever it was, but it was something I did. I had a bunch of credit cards. I did have a ton of them. I had probably, I would say, like 20 credit cards at the time.
But you had the black truck. I remember that one.
So when we went into the relationship, just so I could have more money, I stopped paying all those credit cards. I told her, we'll work on my credit again later.
Damn.
So my credit wasn't terrible when I was with her, but it was, most of my credit cards were maxed out. So it was like I was paying, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, right? Because of
a good next podcast is to break down credit and whatnot.
So, you know, because of the credit situation. So I let go of my credit cards, everything like that. So she said, I told her, hey, well, we don't fit in my car with the baby. And, you know, my target, those cars are pretty small.
More in richer, like you like to find things.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even the fact that I like to find things, because I wanted something cheaper. I wanted a little Toyota Tacoma, something like that. But she said, no, if we're going to invest money, then like, let's just get something that we like. Okay, what do you like?
That you were going to pay.
Yeah, that I was going to pay. And she said, well, you know, I've always liked Silverados. So I was like, okay, let's go look at them. Went to the first dealership, local dealership in town. Saw this beautiful, you know, 6-inch lift truck on 35s, black on black.
How much was the MSRP?
It was 53,000.
And what happened to where's the truck now?
I don't know where it's at now, but it's not in my possession.
It's like the fucking Mamalona, bro.
Yeah, right. So like after tax, we got leather interior into it, everything like that. And I told her too, let's just get another truck that's not lifted. Later on, we can lift it, you know, whatever. She said, no, if we're gonna, you know, like, why make the investment out of hard cash? Like, I mean, let's just do it with the loan already. Like, get it done.
You fucking went into the relationship. You spent time with the kid. You got to know him. You took her on trips. You fucking got a truck together. And at the end of it, nothing to show for it besides experience to share with the fucking audience.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
And the crazy part is that she blames me for the fact that the truck wasn't, you know, whatever it was. So kind of going back to, I accepted a job at the end. You know, I was already out of Xfinity. I had worked at AT&T, and I had a recruiting job, but I was going into another recruiting job. Little did I know that it was gonna be one of my worst work experiences, right?
Gotcha.
So it didn't work out because me and the HR lady did not see eye to eye. She sucked at explaining everything to me.
So things were just not going your way.
They were not going my way.
I bet it was.
Yeah. So
were you in depression mode during that time?
I don't think that so much then. I think if anything made me go downhill was the fact knowing that I wasn't going to be making the amount of money I was making, because I was going to go, either I can, you know, go into unemployment or find another job. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get the unemployment, go back to school, and then just kind of go from there. But then there was a month where I couldn't fully pay for the truck. I had only a certain amount. And so she gave the payment. I was like, thank you. I got you back, you know, whatever. Take in mind that I've spent hundreds of thousands. I don't know, I won't say hundreds, but I spent thousands of dollars on this girl. From, you know, So I really don't want to say, I guess, too much into detail, but there's been times where I've spent, $700 at one point. We used to go out to eat, expensive dinners where it was over $200 per sit down, and then
Plus tip and
plus tip, and then we would like hook up when we were out there, when we would go eat. But the crazy part is that at this point, I was a secret on her end to everybody. Her family didn't know she was going out with me, nothing like that. She kept me a secret because she cared, I guess, more than anything with people. It sucked, but I guess, like, again, I was too into it to where, like, I allowed it to happen, which I shouldn't have.
So you lost a lot of money. You lost the truck that was beautiful, brand new truck. You lost
Friendships, yeah, correct.
You lost family.
Family, correct, yeah.
And
I distanced
lost the ring.
myself. Yeah. Oh, I ended up getting it back.
Okay.
But I lost the money on it because, again, it's like what was it, $5,000-$6,000 that ring cost, and at the end to where you go and try to get rid of it or whatever it is. Yeah.
So during that moment,
terrible.
Richard felt, don't say the lowest point of your life.
Yeah, compared to the beginning of the podcast, that was a come up,
Right.
and this whole segment was a come down. How did you bounce back? Because now you are on the come up again. Like, what was
kind of to answer your question first? I don't think that was my lowest point. I think my lowest point was when we first broke up, and I would see her with the baby daddy and see the lies that she would tell me, and then she would go spend time with them, and she would say that she was at her house.
And that goes with what you're saying, that you couldn't open up. It was probably embarrassing to talk about it.
Yeah, because I already had came to, people around me with my problems. And by that time, I know for a fact that, it was just getting old to them. You know what I mean? Because everybody kept telling me, look, this is what's going on. Like, you need to get out of it. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I said, no. This is what I'm going to keep doing. And, and unfortunately, again, that's where I started losing family, friendships, everything like that. She didn't lose shit. She kept her friends. She kept her family intact, everything like that. Her, like, for us here, if we were still together, this is good quality time. I'm going to go out with the guys. We're going to do the podcast. This is what I'd be doing. For her, going out with her girls involves going to a club, getting drunk, smoking weed, probably, whatever it is. And that's what I would do. And that's what I would tell her, like, this is, you don't have like that. You can just say, hey, me and my friends are going to go get brunch today.
Yeah.
Okay, go to brunch. That's perfectly fine. The only reason I had a problem with you going out with your friends was because you were more than likely going to go out to a club. You were going to be drinking. There's
no need for you to be around guys.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Cut your guy friends. Cut the shit. Be respectful.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that, none of these guy friends ever really, appeared when me and her were in the relationship until after we broke up. There was guy friends all of a sudden popping up,
It's like insurance for her.
One of the most fucked up parts, dude, that I can tell you guys that, like, I mean, this is kind of, one that hits home was because my grandpa had passed away. She had said that she was going to be there for me. She was going to go with me, everything like that. Because again, we were supposed to go back to Reno for the funeral. My grandpa passed, everything like that. We broke up within that week, roughly.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that she went clubbing instead of accompanying.
No. So the day that I got back, and Danny, who's sitting behind,
Mr. Producer,
Mr. Producer today. Danny was a witness to this. Danny went with me. I said, something is up. I told Danny, I need you to come to my house right now. He pulled up. We went in his truck, and So as soon as we got there, it was probably like 5 minutes or so that I see her pull out. Like, we see her walking out. There was somebody parked next to her car.
Somebody, a guy or a girl?
Well, at the time I didn't know. Okay. So somebody pulls out. Well, she was talking to somebody. She pulls out of the parking lot. A car was following it. We saw that it was a guy. I was like, oh, fuck no. I started like losing that shit. I started getting fucking anxiety.
Wait, this is her knowing that your grandpa passed away.
Yeah, she knew I was already back in town, and I told her, hey,
I'm going over there.
Yeah, I told her, hey, I really want to see you. Like, I can use, like a hug, whatever it is. Yeah.
From her fiance.
This was a fresh, broken, we weren't, this was the moment
fiance.
Recently broken up.
Gotcha.
And she said, well, if you need me, like, I'll still be here for you, but I just can't go with you, whatever it was. So then I told Danny something's up because like she kept saying like, no, I can't see you today. You know, not today, not today.
This is where you want to see the person you care about.
Yeah, exactly. If she cared about me, she would have said, fuck this guy. Like, you know, whoever he was, let me go, you know, be with this person. I've known him. He's giving me a lot, whatever it was. But no. So I get there, we pull up within, you know, we see that, and then they leave her truck out because they would used to park her car in this street. So when her dad, because her dad got off like really late from work, so he would park inside. But they were now in this guy's car, and they go and they park inside in the parking space. And I was texting her. Yeah, she was replying here and there. She would lag a little bit. But I was getting very, very fucking impatient. So I told Danny, I was like, bro, do me a favor. Get off. Pretend like you're running. Put on your hoodie. Like, make sure.
Through,
like,
man.
yeah. I was like, make sure. Like, but
Get
then,
home, you're right there.
yeah. And then Danny ran for a certain distance through the back, not through the front of the car. And I was like, fuck. I was getting very impatient. I said, fuck this. I got off. And I texted her, oh, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to drop something off that I brought for you.
Damn.
As soon as that happens, boom, the car turns on, goes in reverse. Coming my way because I'm walking right there. She fucking turns around like this, so I don't see her face. And Danny was like, I think Danny was like trying to calm my ass down to begin with, for me not to do something stupid, right?
It's not worth it.
Yeah. So then I told her like, yeah, like fucking, you know, I brought you something, blah blah blah, which wasn't even true. But I did have something. I think my cousin Monse at the time gave me some.
Well, I thought you gave her something.
You know, so then so Danny took over. He was in the car, and I told him, I need you to do me a favor. Have my spare key in this place. Grab my truck, because the candy was in my truck. And I fucking ate up her whole fucking story, dude. So Danny goes real quick to get my truck, and I told her, Danny's driving around somewhere. He's parked somewhere waiting for me to tell him to pick me up. You know, whatever it is. But Danny was really, you know, going to pick up my truck.
Damn, Danny.
Yeah,
you know
so...
that shit? Remember that?
So, like, you know, the guy goes into the other side of the apartment, drops her off, and then she finally picks up my fucking call because I kept calling her over and over again. She finally picks up my call. And I was like, what the fuck was it? What do you mean? Where you at? At my house. No, you're fucking not. I fucking saw you. I'm not stupid. You know, you told me you were going to go park the car, and you answered my call when you were telling me, but then you said, let me call you back. I'm going to walk to my house. I was like, I let you hang up. I was like, I never let you hang up when you're walking to your house, especially when it's at nighttime and you're just going to go park the car, because I'd rather make sure that you made it home safe.
What was her excuse?
Her excuse was that it was just a friend.
On your grandpa's funeral.
The day, as soon as I came back from my grandpa's funeral, and I was supposed to come, I think the next day. I came back a day early for all this shit. Yeah, I had a fucking ton of anxiety, and I was very uneasy.
This is where all the audience is probably saying,
what an idiot.
No, they're probably thinking you walked away. You call it quits.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Why?
This is where, again...
Why do you think a lot of men do this?
Están enculados.
Why?
No, I think that sometimes a lot of people don't know when to walk away. They try to find the excuse, try to see the good in the person, when the reality, there's no good anymore. There's nothing but excuses, nothing but lies going on.
That's a big low blow.
It is a very big low blow.
I'm sure you got some depression right there.
Absolutely. Like really, really bad. Always questioned everything that she did, how she moved, everything.
And this is one of many things that she did.
Oh, yeah,
we could go on and on, probably.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and and I'm not going to go into detail about this one, but there was this time where she hit me up for something, for something to happen between us, and only to find out that I was Plan B that night. So, you know, like I hit a really low point in this, and she was never like, hey, I really apologize for hurting you for what I did. She was just basically like, it happened, get over it.
Damn. And what was Richard doing during his depression? Where was he at? Where was everybody at?
Well, Richard was alone because he pushed everybody away.
How long were you alone? Weeks, months, a year?
Months, probably a year.
How did that make you feel?
Obviously, okay, so at the beginning, like shit, because, you know, you usually had your circle of people and you ended up pushing them away, right? But then kind of like when you I would go back to the old habits, you know, being with her, hanging out with her, everything like that. So it was, you know, spending all that money still on her. Even if I had $5 to my name, those $5 would go for her, you know. And
it seemed like you were just used to that too.
yeah, it's just kind of just going back to it because I had
comfort in
nothing
the
else.
routine.
Yeah, and I had nothing else basically because I pushed everybody else away, you know. So it was hard, but then at some point I just kind of got used to it.
What made you wake up or realize that it wasn't worth it, or you were worth more? You were a worthy man.
I think more than anything, the wake up call was seeing that nothing was ever going to change, that I was never going to be important to her. Things started deteriorating a lot, you know, because like, yeah, for a good amount of time we would hook up, all this stuff, but then she stopped kissing me while we were hooking up. She stopped doing certain things. The way that, you know, we would talk, like everything just started going, you know, downhill. And I said, this is not going to come up. There was a point where we said, oh yeah, let's try things. And I told her, this is what I need from you. I don't need your baby daddy around you, you know, all this stuff. If he's going to pick up your daughter, okay, he's there to pick up your daughter. He takes off, whatever it is, not him going to your house, which is something that he would do. Go to your house, spend time with you, be with you, all this stuff. And she said, okay. Didn't even last fucking 3 days because, you know, when I brought it up, she's all like,
that hurt you too? Or it was not as
it did
much?
at that point because I me ilusioné.
Okay.
You know, I made myself that illusion. Like, well, I don't know, it's not an illusion, right? I don't know how you say it specifically in English, but you know, I basically got it in my head that we were going to try things out, and it's obviously the relationship that I wanted to be in, right? So you know, she said, yeah, you know, whatever. 3 days later, she's like, no, I'm not going to let you control me on who can be around me. And this, like, it's not fucking controlling. It's fucking giving somebody respect. Respect that you're not going to be with somebody else that you had a long past with, you have a child with, that every time something happens, you end up with that other person. So it's like, fuck, I don't think that I was asking for too much.
Was Richard expecting everybody to help him?
I think at a certain point when everything started happening, I expected it because I said, oh, if these people care about me, they'll help me. But there were bad habits that I was kind of going through, right? So, you know, then as, you know, when I hit rock bottom, when, you know, I kind of looked it up and said, you know what, this is never going to change. I got to push myself out. I think that that's kind of where the little turning point was. I know, you know, obviously we lost contact. We had issues. You know, you reached out at some point, and little by little we started fixing, you know.
Well, it came because I started noticing changes from you.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know what? Like, you deserve to speak out.
Yeah.
And explain what's going on. And I saw you bettering yourself.
Yeah.
And the main reason I want to say that I distanced myself was the energy I was receiving from you was getting to me too, and it was affecting me. And I guess sometimes you gotta take action yourself. And I think this is where you realized from everybody, nobody is gonna help you if you don't want the help.
Right, absolutely.
And you probably said, I have to help myself first.
Right. You know, and that's one of the biggest things is kind of like, for sure, absolutely. Like if you, because everybody can give you advice, but if you don't take that advice and you're not willing to let it be however it is, like people are going to stop caring. They can say, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? At some point, it's just going to get old. People are going to stop listening.
Well, what made you finally realize that you had to help yourself after? How long was it since you knew it was fucking over? You knew it was going to continue?
Like 2 years. After it happened, I stayed in it for about 2 years.
Fuck.
Recently,
What made you change though? What was the light bulb in your head?
that nothing was going to change, dude. Literally. It was the fact that baby daddy's still around. Baby daddy would still go over. She would fucking lie a lot. And I think, like, I don't hate her, but I fucking hate that she would lie to me about every single little thing. I saw a lot myself. I even came down to the point where I saw her kiss her baby daddy. Man. And I was still fucking in it. And she called me as soon as she left his house.
Damn, the nerve.
Yeah. And she said, I was going to tell you we should go eat something. And I'm like, I just didn't speak up that day to her. I said, I'm going to keep it, see what happens, you know, and just kind of pull it out of my ass one day. Sure enough, I did. We were having a fucking argument. I fucking brought it up. She just fucking stayed quiet, you know, and I was like, she had nothing to say.
So you
what can she say?
pretty much made up your mind. You grabbed everything that was hurting you,
Yeah. I think
crumbled
it
it
was,
up, and just put it aside.
yeah, somebody gave me the advice, said one day it's just get kind of like what Steven said, right? About that system, it's just going to hit you. Somebody gave me the same advice as to the relationship. Somebody said, it's going to be a lot. You're going to have, you know, really bad days, really bad days, really bad days. And one day it's just going to hit you as you're done. And I feel like that happened to me. You know, I said, oh shit. And I've hung out with people here and there since, you know, I've kind of had that realization. She didn't know that I hung out with people. Again, I'm sure she hung out with people as well, or apparently her never guys. But if you go to a club, she was obviously dancing with guys and all this stuff, getting their information, texting, whatever it was. One time that I had lunch with her, some dude texted her on WhatsApp and she fucking tried to deny the fact that they were even talking. She said, oh, it's just somebody I know from Mexico. He's just hitting me up, like saying what's up, like how I've been, whatever. To then later on find out that she actually lied, that he was trying to talk to her. And she's a very bad texter, I think, almost in general. But then, you know, so the guy kind of got impatient and just said, you know, fuck this. I need somebody who's actually going to be texting me or whatever. So, but, you know, little things like that is like, why even lie about them? You know, like, yeah, we're not anything. And I think that was one of my biggest things too. One of my biggest mistakes was, you know, kind of trying to force the fact that we weren't anything, but still want her to tell me where she was doing, who she was talking to.
Couldn't let it go.
I couldn't let it go. You know, and I felt that because I was being faithful to her and loyal to her, then obviously, like, I should get the same return. Obviously,
You
it
let it go
doesn't work
now.
that way.
You're past that.
Yeah,
You're
I'm past that. I
fall,
let it
you
go.
learn.
Yeah, I've hung out
the
with people,
purpose
like
of
I
this
said.
show also is,
Yeah.
you know, for us to grow, because we're not where we want to be. We're still growing. We're going to get there. And you're doing that right now.
Yeah.
You're growing. You're surpassing your battles and learning from it. Are you becoming a better person now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to spend like the next 10 minutes before we close out just to recap on the bad habits that you did, the depression that you were in, and the things you do now to kind of lift yourself up, just so people that went through something similar to you that are still stuck in that stage that you were in, they can learn these things from you and put them in action to be better. Like, what are things that are helping you out nowadays? Obviously, you're spending time with your loved ones. People
Spending time with my loved ones. And here's the biggest thing, dude. It's like, don't be scared to finally walk away and do something for you. Again, I would hang out with people just randomly because she was obviously doing the same thing. But I never did anything bad that I would say.
It's finally
it's just kind of
taking time for yourself, hanging out with people.
You know, but like, you know, one of the biggest things is kind of like staying busy, obviously.
Staying busy.
I picked up gaming at the time frame that I was kind of like at one of my lowest points.
Yeah,
It kept my mind occupied. Yeah, like
Better
because,
than crying.
yeah, better than crying and fucking trying to see where she was at, you know, all this and that. And kind of, you know, before we go into this and, you know, closing everything off, I do want to like, one thing is like, don't ever, like a little bit of advice more than anything, don't ever let somebody tell you that you're the problem, especially when you can see all the red flags going on around you. And don't let anybody for sure tell you that you're fucking crazy because you're going through depression, because she did that shit to me. Like, and I like fucking at my lowest points, fucking crying. She'd be like, "You're fucking crazy, dude."
Oh,
like,
that shit hurts even more.
you know,
Coming from somebody that you
somebody
wanna
who you love, somebody that you love and you wish that you had their support, and they couldn't even do that for you when, you know, you're at your lowest point. They're fucking calling you crazy instead of being supportive.
And this is like I think we all believe this. We only have one life.
Right.
You're wasting it in depression. You don't want to die depressed. So that clicked to you too?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I feel like because more than anything is like, fuck, I'm 30. Oh, well, now I just recently turned 31. So I'm 31. You know, I guess a blessing in disguise. I don't have a kid. you know, I've had good jobs. Nah. You know, I don't have the good jobs like I did back then, but kind of getting back on my feet again.
Yeah.
You know, doing all these things
So
and little by little.
You have one life. How do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And then walking away from this life, where's Richard going to be at?
I think that one of the biggest things that I want to do is that I like, and I've had these conversations with you, is like, you know, I'm used to just working your regular job and stuff like that. I've always been scared to, for one, invest or learn something new, because it was what I would call, what people would call scared money, right? I want for sure my money to be secure. But then I've always been a very bad spender. So to answer your question, I do see myself, you know, investing money, being able to work on myself, fitness wise and mentally, physically, you know, everything in one, I think, more than anything, just because it keeps you grounded more than anything. I think that with everything that has happened to me and everything that people can go through, I think that sometimes you just let life, you know, basically, in my case, grab me by the balls and drag me through fucking hell and back. But it's kind of like, where's Richard going to be now? You know, I want to be a lot, you know, better for myself, financially better, physically better, you know, making investments where I can say like, oh, my money's working for me, and be, you know, better off than I've ever been. I think, you know, I've had a lot of things holding me back, and I've made the excuses myself, and I take accountability for those things.
That's good.
But you know, I want to, you know, just in general, be a better person, and, you know, continue my friendships and with my loved ones, and, you know, keep improving everything that I can with them.
Well, I have no doubt, brother. I see the potential in you. I know what you got to offer. I see you doing very well in the next years, and
Thank
you. I'm happy to have you back.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, bro.
And everything that you want to learn, I'm sure you'll help us find guests that can teach me, you, Jose, all these things that we're curious about, our audience is curious about. So, yeah, we're all going to be worthy. We're working towards worthiness. And thank you for coming on, giving your story. No, thank you, man, because this resonation that people are going to hear that are going similar to your story, they're going to learn from this, they're going to grow from this. So you're the one to thank. You know, we're just here with the mics. You're the one that's in the spotlight. So
we
thank
wish
you,
we had
man.
more time. But
Part 2.
Yeah. So become worthy, be worthy, stay worthy. The Worthy Men's Club show.
Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.